Perimenopause for so many women can be a really frustrating and confusing time. Sometimes it can feel like from one day to the next, you're living in a completely different body. So I want to really break down what is perimenopause, what signs and symptoms you can look for, what tests you can get, and finally, what solutions that you can find and what you can do to alleviate some of the symptoms. So if you're new here, hello, I'm Tracy. I am 49 years old and I am now in menopause. So I went through perimenopause and I really understand how frustrating and quite honestly weird the whole process can be. So if you're new here, I am so glad that you're here. Please give this video a big like if this is a topic that's of interest for you. And if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing so that you can join our beautiful YouTube family of now over 200,000 women from all over the globe. So perimenopause is that elusive time before you enter the stage of menopause, and most women know of menopause as when you stop having menstrual cycles. So there are hormonal shifts and changes that happen leading up to that phase of our life of menopause, and that's what perimenopause is. Now, there is actually no definitive answer as to exactly when a woman will start perimenopause. So unfortunately for us, it means that we have to actually look for what are some of those signs and symptoms. But research shows that the average woman, it's somewhere between 4 and 8 years before you enter menopause. But I've actually heard recently from other doctors that it can be as early as 10 to 15 years before you enter menopause. So if you are suddenly feeling like the workouts that you were doing before that used to work aren't working any longer, or all of a sudden you've gained weight unexpectedly or other symptoms, I want you to know that it might just be because you actually entered perimenopause. And rest assured, I'm gonna give you some tools and techniques and strategies that you can start implementing right away to alleviate those frustrating symptoms. So let's dive into some of the hormonal changes that can happen during perimenopause. I'm gonna get nerdy here and bust out my notes here because I wanna make sure that I don't make any mistakes. So what are some of the specific hormonal changes that can happen during perimenopause? During perimenopause, most women experience a decline in their estrogen levels. Now, this decline in the estrogen levels can lead to symptoms such as hot flashes, mood swings, a decreased libido. Some of the things that we often think about as menopause, it actually starts happening in that period known as perimenopause. Another hormonal change can be fluctuations in our progesterone levels. Now, when we have fluctuations in our progesterone levels, that's when your periods might become irregular, and the progesterone level fluctuations can really affect your sleep. So if you're in your 30s watching this and you're like, how come I can't ever sleep during the night? This could be one of the reasons why. You might also experience an increase in your FSH, which is your follicle stimulating hormone. Now, this might happen because your ovaries actually become less responsive to hormonal signals. You might also experience changes in your LH, which is your luteinizing hormone. Now, you don't need to know all of that, but you want to kind of have an idea of what you're looking for, especially if and when you go to your doctor and you get some blood work done. So as I mentioned, perimenopause, there is no specific definition, but a lot of women will experience symptoms such as lower libido, decreased muscle tone, hot flashes, irregular sleep, irregular periods, mood swings, and there's a host of other things as well. And unfortunately for a lot of women, if we don't have the education and the knowledge, we think, oh, it's just age, but it actually might just be that you've entered perimenopause. And I promise you there are things that you can do to alleviate those symptoms. So how do you actually know if you are indeed in perimenopause, and what are some of the tests that you should be asking your doctor for? So first and foremost, you want to get your hormonal levels tested. So a doctor will measure some of the things that we talked about before, your estrogen levels, your progesterone levels, your FSH, your LH. You'll also want to find a doctor that's going to measure your thyroid, because sometimes when we have a thyroid that's not functioning properly, it can mimic signs of perimenopause. So you really want to have an expert doctor that really can differentiate between the two. And depending on your medical history, you might even want to get a pelvic ultrasound. And that ultrasound can measure if there's any irregularities or signs of of perimenopausal related changes. So now you know what to look for, and hopefully you're going to be getting tests to really know for sure, is it perimenopause, and get a better idea of what's actually happening to your body. But what are some of the things that we can do in our day-to-day life? And this is why you're here in this video, right? Because you want to make improvements and just feel better. The number one thing that you can do is manage your lifestyle. So I've been fortunate enough that I've been able to meet with and have conversations with doctors that specialize in hormonal shifts and changes and hormonal regulation. And the number one thing that most doctors will say, that your lifestyle is the number one thing that's going to matter before anything else that you can do to manage your perimenopausal symptoms. So making sure that you're eating a healthy diet, eliminating processed food, really eating adequate protein, fresh fruits and vegetables, hydrating your body. That's going to make such a difference in your symptoms, because your mama was right. We are what we eat. And if you're eating crappy food, you're probably going to feel really crappy. You know, I think about like when I was in my 20s and, you know, the damage that I would do to my body by like eating crappy food, eating lots of candy that had all these food dyes in it, you know, eating fast food, over drinking alcohol. And your body in your 20s can kind of handle all of that. But as we get older, your body is going to start breaking down and doesn't want it. So really do your best, even if it's simple shifts and changes. You focus on one thing each week and then build on it. It's going to make a huge difference with your nutrition and your diet. Secondly, it's making sure that you're managing your stress and moving your body. You know, I often say to members in my fitness membership, Total Body Transformation, I actually don't move for my body. I do it for my brain, because it really helps me. I'm going to be really real with you. Helps me not want to kill someone, right? We all have stress. We all have challenges in our life. But the more that I move my body, I don't feel anxious. I feel less stress, and I just feel more like me. And that's what we all want, right? So this is your invitation now. If you haven't already, I have a free cheat sheet. It's really how to avoid the 5 biggest mistakes that most women make when it comes to getting fit. And especially if you are in or approaching perimenopause, this is for you. So I will leave it linked up here and down below in the description box. I really want you to get this cheat sheet, because it really breaks everything down and it gives you a roadmap to look and feel your best really quickly. As I said, managing your stress, this is crucial for you. So I don't care if that comes in the form of taking yoga classes, doing meditation. I have some meditations here on my channel, practicing breath work, deep breathing, you know, calling a friend, but just anything that you can do to decrease your stress levels is going to make such a huge difference for you. Another thing that you might want to consider are things like acupuncture, herbal supplements, or doing things like yoga. That's really going to help you. I found that working with my hormonal specialist, she does recommend certain supplements, and they really work. These are things that you can get, you know, without a prescription. You want to make sure that they are really high quality, because supplements are not regulated. Vitamins, supplements, they're not regulated. So it's really important that you do your research. I always like to get things that my doctor has specifically recommended, so that number one, I'm not just wasting my money on things that are not going to move the needle for me, but also that you're getting really good, high quality supplementation. And then next up is talking to your healthcare provider. As I said, making sure that you're getting tests, making sure that you're working with someone that really understands a woman's body, understands perimenopause and menopause. It's really, really worth it that you do your due diligence and that you find a healthcare provider that's really going to help you. Because one of the things that really has helped me the most was HRT. I've been working with a hormonal specialist doctor now for almost 1.5 years, and it really was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You know, I had gone through IVF, and then I had a baby, and I was in the throes of perimenopause. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to work with this doctor, because it really changed everything for me. I was doing all of the quote right things, right? But I just felt that I had, especially with my energy, I had such low energy, and that is not normal for me. Now, you know, in earlier years, right, we could have just said like, well, that's, you know, you're in your 40s now, you're in your late 40s, like, what do you expect? Or like, oh, you've got a baby, like, welcome to the rest of your life. But I knew intuitively that something was wrong. So I'm so grateful that I decided to take action, and I stepped forward and said, you know what, my health is a worthy investment, and I started working with my doctor. It just has helped me so much, and HRT, it really expedites everything that you're doing. You know, my doctor always tells me, you know, the foundation of everything is your lifestyle. It's what are you eating? How are you exercising? What's your stress? What's your sleep like? But then having the HRT working with that can really, really help. It's like a beautiful marriage. You know, there is no magic pill. If you are taking HRT and you're not sleeping and you're eating crappy food and you're completely stressed out all the time, it's gonna be a slower road. But if you have that lifestyle really dialed in, along with the HRT, and that's when the real magic can happen for you. And if you're having weird symptoms now, another thing that I really recommend that you do is you start tracking your symptoms. You know, get a notebook. It doesn't have to be high tech. You know, we often think about like, oh, if you want to get pregnant, you know, tracking your cycle or something like that. But you can do the same thing during perimenopause. Like if you notice, like, gosh, the one thing that would always happen to me is like, why am I waking up between 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning all the time? Or, you know, why is it that I, you know, have these cycles where I just feel blue? One of the symptoms that I had during perimenopause was just feeling kind of like blah about everything, you know, like my life, my business, my family, just like everything. I was like, you know, and that's not me. That's not how I want to go through life. And it's funny because it's often until you're on the other side that you won't even notice that you were having these symptoms and these challenges until you start feeling better. And it's kind of like a veil has been lifted, and suddenly you're like, I'm seeing with clear eyes, I'm thinking with clear thoughts, I'm able to move forward. That's what I want for you too. So if you are struggling right now with symptoms of perimenopause or just weird stuff going on in your body, I really just want to encourage you to take action. You know, get tested, talk to your healthcare provider, see if you can find a hormone specialist, maybe start HRT if that feels like it's a right solution for you, and most importantly, communicate. You know, that's one of the things that I really love about this channel and this community is that I want this to be a resource for you. I'm not a doctor. I do not have all the answers. I'm here to share with you some of my experiences and some of the things that I've gone through and what I've done to help alleviate those symptoms and just feel better. You know, now at 49 years old and in menopause, I'm happy to say that this can be a really beautiful part of your life. You know, when you move through perimenopause and then you get to menopause, it's just another chapter of your life as a woman. It is your right as a woman to go through this journey. It doesn't mean that you're washed up. It doesn't mean that your life is over. It doesn't mean that you automatically get flabby and have to gain weight and feel like crap and, you know, get hairy in places you don't want to have hair and be sweating all night. You know, there really are solutions here for you. So I just want to remind you, it starts with your lifestyle. It starts with your mind being willing to open yourself up to getting the support that you need, being willing to communicate with friends and family, and getting the help and the support that you need from the medical side as well. So that's what I've got for you. I hope that this was really helpful for you. I'm sure you have some questions. If you do, please do leave them in the comments down below. There is a way through perimenopause. You know, it's just a phase of life. It's normal. You're all gonna go through it. And if you're in it now, there is help for you. There is a way for you to feel better, that I can assure you. So I'm happy to be a resource for you here as well. If you like this video, do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and definitely please do consider subscribing to my channel. I love this community that we're building, and it's just my honor and pleasure to spend time with you. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope this helps you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.